Most traders look at cocoa and see just another commodity market. But professional traders understand something very different. They understand that cocoa is one of the most structurally violent, weather-sensitive, politically unstable, and liquidity-driven markets in the entire world. This is not the S&P 500. This is not crude oil. And this is definitely not a market that forgives emotional trading. Over the past several years, cocoa has produced some of the most explosive price movements seen across any futures market globally. With liquidity disappearing, spreads widening aggressively, and violently reaching historic extremes. And yet, most retail traders still have absolutely no idea how this market actually works. In this presentation, we're going to break down cocoa futures down from a professional perspective. First, we're going to go through the fundamental side of the market: global production, weather cycle, supply shortages, seasonality, export disruptions, and the macro forces that truly drive cocoa prices. Then later in the presentation, we'll transition into the technical side: how professional traders actually approach the charts, how structure behaves in thin liquidity markets, how volatility expands, and the type of mistakes that destroy inexperienced traders in soft commodities. Because understanding cocoa is not just about learning a contract spec. It is about understanding how global supply stress, weather, liquidity, and positioning collide together to create one of the most unique trading environments in the world. So let's begin with the foundation first. What exactly are cocoa futures? Cocoa futures trade on the ICE exchange under the ticker symbol CC. Each contract represents 10 metric tons of cocoa, priced in US dollars per metric ton. Now, on the surface, this may sound relatively straightforward. But underneath that simplicity sits a market that is deeply connected to the global food system. International trade flows, weather patterns, political stability, and institutional hedging activity. Cocoa futures primarily exist for three reasons: hedging, speculation, and commercial price protection for manufacturers. Large chocolate producers, exporters, processors, and commodity firms use this market to manage price risks across global supply chains. And because cocoa serves as the global benchmark pricing mechanism for the chocolate industry, disruptions in supply can rapidly transmit into food inflation, manufacturing costs, and ultimately consumer prices worldwide. Why cocoa matters? Cocoa is the backbone of the chocolate industry, but its influence expands much further than most people realize. It touches food production, consumer products, confectionery markets, and even cosmetics. Multinational firms like Hershey, Nestle, Mondelez, and Barry Colbert all have direct exposure to cocoa pricing. And this is important because when cocoa prices move aggressively, these companies feel it almost immediately through manufacturing margins and pricing pressure. Now, from a trader's perspective, this is where things start to become extremely interesting. Because unlike highly liquid index markets, soft commodities like cocoa are much smaller structurally, which means when supply disruption occurs, prices can move far more violently than traders expect. To truly understand why cocoa can become so volatile, you have to first understand where the world's cocoa actually comes from. Cocoa comes from the West African region. The main producers are Ivory Coast, Guyana, Nigeria, Cameroon, Ecuador. West Africa dominates supply. This is critical in understanding cocoa as it introduces weather, political instability, labor issues, export disruptions. What are the contract specs? The symbol is CC. It trades on the ICE exchange. The tick size is $1. The tick value is $10 per tick. There are no daily price limits. This is a violent market. Why is cocoa so volatile? Cocoa futures can become extremely volatile. The main drivers are weather, disease, supply shortages, political instability, port and export disruptions, currency fluctuations, and thin liquidity. This contract trades on an average daily basis approximately 15 to 25,000 contracts per day. Hedge fund positioning. Soft commodities can become disorderly very quickly. This is where cocoa starts to become very different from financial markets, because unlike stocks, bonds, or indexes, Cocoa is a biological market. Rainfall matters, humidity matters, disease matters, wind patterns matter, and one bad growing season can completely reshape the entire global supply outlook. As the slide shows, one weather cycle can completely alter global supply expectations. We saw this play out in 2024 with the cocoa explosion. There was a historic cocoa shortage. It was a combination of weather damage, disease, supply collapse, liquidity stress, created one of the most aggressive commodity rallies seen in years. And as liquidity dried up, volatility expanded even further. During this time, hedge funds exited the market. Because of this reason, the spreads exploded. The moves were astronomically huge on a daily basis. A one lot at one point was averaging about $17,000 to $18,000 per lot. That's how volatile this market got. Now, the reason primarily that it got this way is because the spreads exploded because of the fact that hedge funds had to exit the market. Who trades cocoa? Participants in the cocoa market are your standard commercials, which will be chocolate companies, processors, exporters. You'll have some hedge funds that are in it, whether it be macro funds, commodity funds, CTA systems. You also have specs, who are short-term momentum traders, as well as retail traders. Liquidity in cocoa can disappear fast when hedge funds exit. So why are soft commodities different? Soft commodities trade differently than anything else for a few key points. Liquidity is thinner, the spreads are larger, you can have extremely violent squeezes because of the lack of liquidity, weather dependency, there is huge overnight gap risk. There is no overnight market. Trading cocoa is not the same as trading ES or crude oil. It can hurt you, and it can hurt you very quickly. There is a seasonality component to this. You have harvest cycles. You have the West African growing season. Main growing countries are within the Ivory Coast, Guyana, Nigeria, Cameroon. These countries dominate global cocoa production. The Ivory Coast and Guyana account for roughly 60 to 65 of global supplies. Demand spikes around holidays. The main cocoa harvest cycle is between October to March. This is the most important harvest period, the largest supply period, the highest market period. Peak arrivals usually occur. December through February is when exports surge, inventories rebuild, global supply expectations become clearer. In this market, seasonality matters, but structure matters more. The second main harvest period is October through March. This is the most important harvest period. The largest supply period, it's also the highest market period. Peak arrivals usually occur between December and February. This is when exports surge, inventories rebuild, global supply expectations become clearer. Mid-crop to light crop, or the secondary crop, is April through September. It's smaller, it's more weather sensitive, it has lower production volume. Peak usually occurs between the months of May through July. The market watches this closely. Weak mid-crop production can tighten inventories fast, and supply deficits become invisible here. Weather risk periods. The Harmattan wind season is December through February. Dry, dusty winds from the Sahara, which can cause moisture stress, pod damage, and lower yields. You also have raining season. The major rain season period is April through July, which is critical for pod development, tree health, future harvest expectations. The minor raining season is December through November. That supports late crop development, flowering, the next harvest season. We've attached here a guide from a map perspective of the overall rainfall in the African region where cocoa is grown. Too much rain can cause disease, fungus, black pod disease, and shipping logistical problems. Too little rain can cause smaller pods, lower bean quality, lower yields, supply deficits. In actuality, rain matters, weather matters. Cocoa is a weather-driven market. One poor growing season can dramatically alter the global supply expectation. Now that we've had a mini tutorial on the fundamentals of cocoa, How do professional traders approach cocoa? We can begin transitioning into the technical side of trading because fundamentals may explain why the market is moving, but technical structure helps professional traders navigate how to participate in that movement. And this becomes especially important in cocoa because soft commodity markets behave very different than highly liquid index products. Liquidity can disappear, spreads can widen rapidly, momentum can accelerate violently, and emotional decision making becomes extremely dangerous. Now let's just discuss how professionals actually trade cocoa from a structure and risk management perspective. What before you is some of the ways that professional traders will approach cocoa. They understand the volatility. They'll reduce their size because, again, liquidity is a challenge here. They will use wider stops. They monitor liquidity on a day-to-day basis. They avoid emotional trading because in illiquid markets, you could get caught and hurt very quickly. Common retail mistakes. This is not just for cocoa, but this is for markets in general. They oversize, they ignore liquidity, they trade during illiquid hours, which for cocoa doesn't really exist because there is no overnight market. They fade momentum blindly. A market is too high, I'm going to short it. A market is too low, I'm going to buy it. They misunderstand the delivery style of this market. They use tight stops in very volatile conditions. Cocoa is one of the most unique markets in the world. It is weather-driven, it is politically sensitive, it is institutionally influenced, it is structurally violent. This is not a market that rewards emotional trading, oversized positions, or reckless risk management. Professional traders can survive in markets like cocoa because they respect volatility. They understand the liquidity, and they remain disciplined when conditions become unstable. Because at the end of the day, the goal is not to predict every move. The goal is to trade the market in front of you, not the one you want. Now let's get to the charts. We'll go through a daily, and then we'll go through a weekly, and then we'll go through a monthly, and then we'll look at an intraday chart just to give a feel of how cocoa actually moves. So this is a daily. If you've been watching our weekly recaps, you know that we've been discussing cocoa for quite some time. Our expectation was for a move back down to about 3,000, 2780. We got there, we bounced, and now we're vacillating in this 4,000 to, let's just say, $3,600 range, just to go into the 2024 cocoa explosion. We're going to go to a weekly just for a quick second. This is the 2024 cocoa explosion. You'll notice some of these bars are insane. We had a bar here. We went from 64.19 to 81.86. We had other bars where we went from 99.88 to 11.722. These were just crazy times. Crazy times. Look at this insane volatility that was going on. You'll notice going into the run-up in 22, 23, the ranges were relatively small and compressed. It was when this 2024 disruption happened that things got funky. This is when hedge funds basically exited the market and liquidity was gone. So this is a market you really have to pay attention to. When you're looking at how to trade this, you really have to understand how this market behaves, how it moves, how does it actually work, what are the fundamental backdrops that could influence price. Now, this is a daily chart on an intraday basis, and you can see for the most part, the ranges are not so crazy. Like today's range was we had a high of 38.72 and we had a low of 37.52. It's a lot calmer than it used to be. These are 10-minute charts, so you can see this is just 10-minute blocks of time. The market hours are not that great. This market opens at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's only open until 11:50, and then that's it. So you only get about 4 hours of trading, and then that's it. So one of the things that's great about soft commodities is that a lot of techniques can be used here because these markets actually close. We hope that you found this beginning guide or introductory guide to cocoa futures to be helpful. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.